Welcome to Papa Junk Shop. Well, a lot of you probably seen this sitting in the background when I was working on my other projects. It's a Fairmont engine. It doesn't belong to me. I traded getting this baby running for a machinist toolbox with some goodies in it. So guy said he wasn't in any hurry, and it's been quite some time, and he hasn't bugged me any about it either, so I'm getting tired of walking around it, so I think I'm gonna work on it. I've been kind of putting it off because it is two-stroke. I'm not comfortable with two-stroke stuff. Actually, it's simpler. It shouldn't be as hard to do, but something you're not used to, unfamiliar territory, and I'm gonna get her lifted up on the table there, I think. So see you when we get her up on the table. Okay, no issues getting her up on the bench. Thought I'd show you a little bit about it, what I've learned so far. At our local engine show, a guy brought one of those little cars that go on the railroad tracks that had one of these in it. And he was nice enough to explain a lot of it to me and actually start it up for me and run it so I could actually see the thing go. And what I learned is that this changes the spark, so you move this one way and then back the other way to reverse the engine. And this is the throttle, and I believe it's supposed to have a buzz coil, not a regular car coil. And the points and stuff are contained in a little box right here. And I did have this hooked up, and I did actually have it firing and run for maybe 30 seconds or so. And of course the carburetor was a mess, running over and all that good stuff like they always do. And I took that off and I managed to clean it. And I gotta say, it's one of the nicest carburetors I ever worked on, because everything in it is gigantic, and it all uses big wrenches and big screwdrivers, and nothing's fragile, so you can actually take them apart and fix them. And so I did that, I don't know, probably a year ago. So what I want to do is make a new gasket, of course, for the carburetor, get rid of this coil. I have a buzz coil here, which yesterday I removed the side there and found the capacitor inside was no good. Actually, the end was blown right out of it, so I got that replaced back together, and it buzzes nicely. So we're going to use that. And this gas tank I'm going to take from here, and I think I'm going to mount it up here. And the buzz coil, I think I'm going to mount down here somewhere near the actual spark plug. And then once we get all that stuff done, see if we can get her to fire up. So I'll show you as I make some progress as we go along. See you in a bit. Okay, got the gas tank mount made. I cut this crap off the bottom of it, and just got it sitting on there. These straps are just sitting there. Gas tank sits on the mount, and the mount is bolted onto a piece of, it's good and sturdy, on a piece of angle iron. I got it 3 bolts that hold the radiator on 5/16 bolts, piece of angle iron, and I bolted this to the angle iron. So that's going to make a nice mount for the fuel tank. And being this is just going to be a show engine, I don't think the heat from this is going to bother it that much, because it's probably never going to run very much. So I guess next I'll either work on the mount for the coil, or back here where this gas tank was, I was going to make a battery box to hold I think a garden tractor size battery would be adequate, and they're inexpensive, easy to get, so might be a good choice. I'm working on the mount for the coil. I decided on got a piece of oak, and I got it cut to the right size and traced out the shape of the coil, and I got it in the milling machine, and I'm using it like a router, and I'm cutting a groove out. That coil will set right down in there, and then I'll have a rubber strap that goes up over and hooks to hold it in place. Just thought I'd show you one of the last little bit of the milling to be done. So hopefully you'll be able to hear. Yeah, let's see if I figured right. Which I didn't. Gotta make it lengthwise, it's alright. I gotta make it just a whisker wider. So you got the idea, I'll go ahead and do that. See you later. Okay, I got the coil folder, box, whatever, done. Just poured a little clear finish on it so the oil won't soak in. Got the coil fixed up. Put a big fan stop clip on there for the spark plug wire, and 2 little ones for the 12 volts. And what's going to happen is it drops in there like so, and then it'll mount on those 2 rails right there with this countersunk brass wood screw. And then to hold it in place, I just cut a piece of inner tube, and that'll just hook on brass screw on each side of the coil, like so. And that'll just hold her right in there. So that's the plan for the coil. Next, I guess maybe I'll work on the battery box. I'll let you in on that when I come up with a plan and get started. Okay, the battery box is coming along pretty good. Got the lid, put it on there, put some hinges on it, They got to have sort of a handle-like thing, so what I thought I would do is just take the shaper and just cut a little notch for your fingers to go in. I've got some marks on there where I want to start and stop, so I'll give her a whirl. Hopefully it doesn't grab it and ruin it. So I don't want my shaper doesn't pull them on when I do fall over the cord. Let's see. Let me go check the other end of the cord. I'll be right back. Well, never a dull moment. It wasn't the cord. It's got a magnetic contactor on it, and I guess it decided it was going to have some sawdust in it. So I had to blow her out with some air. Even though it's sealed up pretty good, she gets in there. So try her again. Here's what we got. So your finger's got a spot to lift her up. So we'll get some hinges on it and throw some finish on it, and the battery box is done. Okay, got some hinges on it, got some finish on it, dried overnight. I just got it sitting where it's going to be mounted. I think it's going to work out fine. And I also made a bracket for the throttle, which is right here. Just a piece of band iron with an angle on it and a hole through it for one of the bolts that mounts the crankshaft bearing, I guess it would be. And then I just welded a piece of 1/4-inch pipe, I think it is, on there. Put a little bend in the handle so you got something to get a hold of. So next, I think maybe I'll get the gas tank mounted and see about getting the gas line run in place. So go to work on that. Okay, I got the fuel line figured out. Shut off on the gas tank, runs down. We got a strap on this bracket to hold it in place. Seems nice and sturdy. Down to a fuel filter and then into the carburetor. So next I think I'm going to make that handle for this timing control. Well, I got the handle made. I'm not sure I like it, but it should work alright. Had to make it out of some fairly heavy stuff, and it looked too plain Jane, so I put some notches in it for your fingers, but I think she's gonna work alright. And I offset it a little bit because that would have been awful close to that flywheel. If somebody had a sleeve or something hanging down or something, got a little better chance of not getting wound up in it. So I guess the next adventure will be some wiring, maybe. I got a cute little knife switch here I'm going to put on there for turning the ignition on and off. And I'll probably have a inline fuse inside the battery box. But I guess that's the next thing before we can actually try to get it operational. So I'm going to go to work on that. Made some progress on the ignition. I got the battery box fastened down. Got a battery in there. Got an inline fuse. Comes out of there, goes to a knife switch here, and that turns it on. And ground side goes up here to the points box. And these clips were over here on this side, so I moved them over on that side because those wires, when you move this handle, they would bow out and rub on the flywheel. So now we got clearance there, and the wires run along here and come up to the coil. I don't have the coil fastened yet, it's just sitting there, but I have the spark plug tucked down in there, right there. I'll roll it over. Should be able to, yeah, the way that spark plug is, you can't really see it very well, but you can hear the coil buzzing. There we go. So we got spark, and I marked the flywheel top dead center right there. Thought that would maybe help a little getting the initial setup. Of course, when I paint it, that'll be gone, won't be necessary. I guess I still gotta make the gasket for the carburetor, and I'll probably pull the gas tank and stuff back off and put a temporary tank on it, because I don't want to get that tank all messed up with fresh oily gas before I paint it. So I'll just use a temporary fuel tank, and I think this takes, if I remember correctly, 16:1, so it's pretty rich on the oil side. So I guess a little cleanup is in order here, and we'll proceed with that. Okay, got the temporary gas tank on. Battery's hooked up. Spark plug's back in. I'm not sure how this thing's going to act, so I thought I'd better strap her down to the bench. What's this one? Whisper. Okay. And I didn't squirt any gas in anywhere. I'm just going to let it try on its own. We got a choke. We got a hole. That's not good. Okay. Not sure where to begin with this thing, but I'm going to move that a little ways past top dead center that way, and hopefully that means the flywheel's going to rotate that way. Turn on the ignition. And let's give her a burner check. She's going to be a runner. Okay, I got something right here. little leakage here around this carburetor. I have to pull that cap back off and look over those gaskets. I think that's where there's a check valve in there. So I probably should have tried moving that a little bit. Well, we know it's going to run, so that's a good thing. It sure is noisy. So it looks like a day of disassembling a few things, cleaning and painting. Let you know when it's pretty. Okay, the Fairmont engine's done. It was quite a little project. It was kind of fun. I was kind of dreading it because of the fact that it was 2-cycle, but that part of it didn't need any attention, just the stuff on the outside of it. So I ran it a little more, and by changing that timing and stuff, it would smooth out and run pretty nice. I probably should have videoed it, but I didn't. And I'm not going to put any fuel in it because I'm not sure how soon or if and when the guy that owns this is going to run it. So I'm going to leave it completely dry and let him decide when he wants to put fuel in it. But it turned out pretty good. I'll give you a walk around. Guess I should get a giant turntable for my projects when I get them done, so I can just set the camera up and spin them around. That'll give me another project, I guess, wouldn't it? So there you go. I don't know what year this is. I'm sure somebody familiar with these might recognize about what year it might be, or I'm sure there's some numbers on there if you just knew how to go about it. But I guess I'll finish this video up. And if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up and please subscribe. See you next time.